Kwei, and welcome to the 2020 Pow Wow Pitch National Semi-Finals, presented by RBC with the support of Canada Post, Shopify, BDC, and NACCA. Sunshine Tenasco Indigenous, and I am the founder of Pow Wow Pitch. I will be your host for tonight's Pow Wow Pitch National Semi-Finals, where Indigenous entrepreneurs from across Canada will pitch for their chance to win $25,000 in prizes to help them start and scale up their businesses. Thank you for joining us. 6 years ago, I started Pow Wow Pitch with the vision of combining Indigenous culture and social innovation to create a platform to celebrate, showcase, and put the spotlight on Canada's Indigenous entrepreneurs. Over the past years, Pow Wow Pitch has supported more than 100 Indigenous entrepreneurs to take their businesses to the next level. And this week, we will meet 100 more. According to a recent RBC study, Canada's Indigenous population is the fastest growing population in the country. And the Indigenous economy is a $10 billion economy set to grow to $125 billion by 2025. Indigenous people in Canada are starting businesses at 5 times the rate of non-Indigenous people. And Indigenous women are starting up companies at twice the rate as non-Indigenous women. Supporting Indigenous entrepreneurs is more important today than ever before. In our own entrepreneurial pivot in response to COVID-19, this year we are proud to present the 2020 Pow Wow Pitch online and across Canada with the presenting support of RBC and in partnership with Canada Post, Shopify, BDC, and NACCA. Thank you for investing in Indigenous entrepreneurship. We are broadcasting from the Startup Canada studio in Ottawa, Ontario, on unceded and unsurrendered Anishinaabe territory. This summer, applications poured in from across Canada, from nations from coast to coast to coast, like the Salish, Inuit, Métis, Cree, Ojibwe, Anishinaabe, and Mi'kmaq. We shortlisted the top 100 entrepreneurs and matched them with outstanding mentors in the lead up to this week's semifinals. Every night this week, you will have the chance to watch Pow Wow Pitch semifinalists pitch to our esteemed panel of judges as they compete for a place in the Pow Wow Pitch National Finals, taking place on October 20th. Prizes include $500 for each of the top finalists from each province and territory, a $1,000 youth prize, $2,500 for third place, $5,000 for second place, and $10,000 for first place. In total, this year, we will be awarding $25,000 in prizes. Each semifinalist has 2 minutes for their pitch, followed by 2 minutes of Q&A by the judges. Judges are evaluating whether the entrepreneur has clearly communicated their product service, their value proposition, and their planned pathway to sustainability and success, and whether they are convinced the entrepreneur will follow through. Join the conversation online tonight using the hashtag #PowWowPitch, and be sure to share, like, comment, and cheer on and support the entrepreneurs you meet tonight and throughout the week. Let us know who you are rooting for. Let's begin by meeting tonight's esteemed panel of judges. Joining us this evening is Luke Mishetsky, Director of Parcels and E-commerce Solutions Integrations, Canada Post. Tracy Riddler, Plus Specialist, Shopify. Matthew Naughty, Founder and CEO, Firekeeper. Marie-Josée Marcoux, Senior Account Manager, Indigenous Markets and Business Financial Services, RBC. It's time to meet our first cohort of entrepreneurs. Let's have a look at the pitches from just a few moments ago. Are you ready, Canada? Let's get started. Gavin Decontie, Founder, Decontie Clean.
Hey everyone, my name is Gavin Decontie. I am a young Indigenous entrepreneur from Kiawentonteh, Quebec. I am the sole proprietor of Decontie Clean, in which I created in 2014. Decontie Clean was developed from solving a small problem, and it started with the need to help someone with their health. Decontie Clean focuses on health benefits, air quality, and appearance. Decontie Clean is a unique business in itself because we are 100% Indigenous owned, and we are the only cleaning company in the area that focuses on professionally cleaning office chairs, couches, and mattresses. Last year, Decontie Clean's net income was $54,000. We currently have one full-time worker, one part-time worker, aside from myself. Decontie Clean, if I were to win the $10,000, I would use the money to purchase a company vehicle with my logos and company information on it. Having purchased the vehicle will help me promote and advertise my business when driving to different locations and different job websites. I want to give back to the community by providing more job opportunities for the people within my community, and I want to be able to provide a complimentary cleaning service for the elders that have identified health issues.
Well, thank you, Gavin. It was a good pitch. You said you started to work on your business since 2014.
Yeah.
Now you're full-time working on the business?
Yeah, it's a year and a half that I've been full time. I first started in 2014 when I was in high school, and I continued to make contracts while even going to college throughout all these years. I would travel 2 hours from Maniwaki, Quebec to Ottawa for my college courses every single day. Then at night times I would have all my shampooing contracts. So from starting from part-time till now, I was also accepted for a business grant of $175,000 to build my building structure, and it has recently just been completed.
That's good.
Hey, Gavin, great pitch. Really understand what you're up to and what you're trying to accomplish. If you let yourself sort of dream 5 years in advance, what's your vision? Where do you want to take this business?
I definitely see myself opening up a second location. I got a grant from the SAA with the government in Canada, and they were letting me know that if I'm able to show that I'm able to sustain my business and showing that I have the numbers, that they told me if I want to open up a second location in, let's say, for example, Ottawa or Gatineau near my region, they are able to pay another 70% additional to open up my second location. So I see myself opening a second location and hiring another like 2 to 4 workers as well.
Excellent. Thank you.
That was a great pitch. Thank you so much. Aside from funding, what's the biggest hurdle that you can see?
Besides funding, I would think, I guess, finding like reliable workers. That, and also with my company vehicle, that's one of the biggest reasons why I want to purchase a company vehicle, is because I have a truck and my machine weighs 100 pounds. So for me to lift that on, it's like almost puts a strain on my back, and so having a company vehicle will help me be, oh, sorry.
Good job, Gavin. Good seeing you, bud.
Up next, Kiawentonteh, Casey Swamp, owner and head coach, 3TK Fitness.
Sego, my name is Kiawentonteh Swamp. I'm from the Ahksistowaki Mohawk Nation. My business is 3TK Fitness. 3TK Fitness focuses on training the youth elite athlete. As an athlete myself, living a healthy and active lifestyle, my coaching certifications as well as my business background, I know I have what it takes to make 3TK Fitness a success. 3TK's initial focus will be on the youth of Ahksistowaki and the surrounding areas, with the goal in the future to branch off into other remote communities, both in person and online. I've owned and operated an auto repair shop for over 15 years, so I know what a successful business looks like. Currently, I'm working on my functional pattern certification. Functional patterns uses the human body rather than weights and weight machines. With this type of training, I'm able to coach remotely at different places such as local fields, gyms, and even to a client's home if necessary. Presently, I'm training a group of 10 to 14-year-old youth athletes on agility, speed, and conditioning. In addition, I'll be adding the strength component to an upcoming program for high school athletes. With the rate of obesity so high and diabetes in First Nations communities, through 3TK Fitness, I'll do whatever I can to ensure that the youth are headed in the right direction. With the $10,000, I plan to continually educate myself by taking a personal training course specializing in the youth elite athlete. It'll cost approximately $4,000. I'll also be purchasing equipment such as slam balls, kettlebells, and battle ropes, just to name a few. Lastly, I'll need to purchase a small enclosed trailer to store and transport my equipment to various locations. Investing in me and 3TK Fitness is investing in the health and fitness of the youth of our communities. Thank you for your time and the wonderful opportunity to pitch my business to you. Yeah.
Hey, Casey, great pitch. Curious to know how you've had to change your business, pivot your business around the pandemic. What sort of changes have you had to make to your business model?
So what I had to redo my whole plan when COVID hit, because I had to reschedule a couple of programs already. So what I'm trying to group, so I have more social distancing between them, but everybody right now is outside.
Do you see yourself franchising this to go Canada-wide, or would you yourself go to each nation?
Eventually, yes. I'm not going to franchise. I don't want to go that big. What I want to do is I definitely want to train some trainers under me, so when we're going to different remote locations, we can handle that. And through online platforms, I want to be able to train them as well.
Hey, Casey, great pitch. I'm a former pitcher myself. I'm a former athlete myself too. So I'm just curious, as your pricing structure goes, are you going to have different levels, different intensities, different variables like that? Can you explain a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, my original right now, like I said, like I mentioned before, I'm doing a group. I can handle 3 groups at a time within a 5-week period, and I anticipate 10 5-week sessions throughout the year. I'm also doing community programs as well. I'm in conversation with the chief and council to help them. Also, one-on-one training will be part of it.
Great, good job. Keep going, man.
Next is Pamela Devonshire, author, Lightning Sparks Books.
Sego, hello everyone. My name is Pam Devonshire, and I'm a proud Mohawk woman, mother of 2 beautiful children, and a member of the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte. I'm also an author and recently wrote a children's book with my 2 children in mind. Speaking of children's books, let's take a moment and close your eyes. Try to remember your favorite children's book. What do you remember? Was it meaningful to you? Did you feel happy, curious, inspired? Now open your eyes. I wanted to read an inspiring book to my children about our ancestor, Chief and Captain John Deseronton, but I couldn't find one, so I decided to write a book myself. During my research, I learned more details about his courageous life, such how he helped our people escape from the Mohawk Valley during the American Revolutionary War. I learned how Chief Deseronton played a significant role in the development of what Canada is today. As a result of writing my first book, which I've sent to a Canadian publisher, I'm actually working on my second book now called Return to the Mohawk Valley. If I were to win the Pow Wow Pitch competition, I would use the funds in 3 ways. First, I would use the funds to help me research my second book. I would journey back to the Mohawk Valley, journal and blog along the way, and share my experience with Mohawks who have not had the opportunity to go there, and with people who are interested in learning about Mohawk history. I would also visit cultural centers and museums. Second, I would purchase a good camera to document the journey. And third, I would use the funds to launch my web marketing strategy, which also includes an author website. As you've heard, I'm very passionate about sharing stories about significant Indigenous people and events so we can break down biases, connect, and better understand each other. In this time of truth and reconciliation, we can be proud and inspire others with our stories about ingenuity, courage, and determination. Thank you.
I guess what I'm wondering, after you launch a website, what other marketing strategy are you going to implement with e-commerce?
Okay, well, I'm glad you've asked me that. What I'm planning to do is take my story to schools and have the opportunity to read it to my target audience, which would be young children and teachers and maybe even libraries. And I would also launch a Facebook page as well.
Great, thank you.
Great job, Pamela. I'm a former pitcher myself. I know the passion and the fortuitousness that you need. I'm curious of your margins and your sales to date. You've been active for a while, so are you making money? Do you expect to make more next year?
Well, this year I wrote my first book and I submitted to a Canadian publisher, and I haven't heard back as yet, but I'm still working on other stories and other publications. And my second book would be The Return to the Mohawk Valley. So I've just submitted that book to a major Canadian publisher in July. So I don't have any sales to date.
You write your book in English, I guess?
I did write it in English, but my goal would be to translate it into Mohawk and also French, so it would be accessible to all Canadians.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And in other Indigenous languages as well.
Yes, absolutely. Great idea.
Up next is Alexandria Bipatnath, founder and CEO, The Wholesome Conscious and Catering.
Anin Bojo, my name is Alexandria Bipatnath, CEO and founder of The Wholesome Conscious, a catering company that offers Indigenous fusion foods located in Toronto, Ontario. There's a misconception that healthy eating isn't tasty when in fact it can be mouth-watering. Founded in September 2018, I started the business with one goal: to offer nourishing plant-based foods to Indigenous and non-Indigenous communities, as food impacts the community and the individual. I decided to specialize in plant-based foods as it is inclusive to all diets. With a background in fitness and health promotion and holistic nutrition, it is important for me that I educate and advocate healthy eating for the futurity of Indigenous peoples to combat the numerous arising health issues within our nations. The Wholesome Conscious offers group catering, in-person and virtual food demonstrations, and guest speaking on holistic health and wellness. The next step is combining these skills and services into a food truck. Being mobile will allow for catering and education while on the go. The Wholesome Conscious would benefit from the $10,000 to invest into the acquisition of a food truck. These funds will help extend our reach across Turtle Island, actively participating in food sovereignty. Our goal as a company is to have this food truck acquired by December 2021. It is projected that within the first year, the Wholesome Conscious would generate $80,000 to $100,000 in annual profits. By maintaining a mobile business, the Wholesome Conscious can continue to operate year-round and build upon our current standard of high-quality ingredients and sustainability. I'm in deep gratitude that my business has grown entirely through word of mouth and Instagram. Throughout my culinary experience, I've noticed that there's a lack of Indigenous representation, specifically female representation. With this opportunity, we would create a mobile gathering place for the community. The beauty of Indigenous people and the legacy of our ingredients and food continue to tell a story of resilience, ingenuity, and innovation across all communities on Turtle Island. Chimigwech.
Great job, Alex. My name is Matt. I'm a former pitcher. I've done food services, and I'm still kind of dabbling in that market. It's really tough to assure your quality control. Have you looked into that? How do you expand on growing if you do grow, and where do you see yourself going in the next 300 to 500 days?
So right now, I actually just came back from New Mexico and Arizona area, and I've actually been expanding my business over into the States as well. I've had business inquiries for weddings and things like that, and I don't have a mobile food truck or a mobile kitchen. And so having a food truck would give me an opportunity to travel across, Turtle Island on the Pow Wow Trail, attend so many gatherings, weddings, all kinds of different things like that. Yes, I have looked at the market for that as well.
You do all that by yourself?
Yes, I started as a one-man team, hectic days, but it was so worth it.
And do you see other people working with you in the near future?
1000%. So when I started the business, I was a one-man show. I actually recruited my sister as the director of Toronto operations as I was in the States, building there as well. And our group is continuing to grow, which is really great. So I'm looking to hire other Indigenous young culinary artists to be a part of the team.
That's good.
Just a question around your vision for the future beyond the food truck, which is a fantastic, certainly starting point. Do you see yourself going in the restaurant direction, maybe packaged goods, or where do you see yourself in the next few years?
Absolutely. Packaged goods is something I've been thinking about, but how can I make it sustainable, eco-friendly, and cost-effective, but also delicious? And then the other thing is a restaurant would be amazing.
Up next, we have Trever Andrew, founder and designer, Selkwe Book.
Good morning, everybody. How you doing? I am Trever Andrew, founder and designer of Selkwe Book. And what Selkwe Book is, it's a wastewater program that I've developed it where it can be run from your phone. And it's the first program and app that has been developed to address water quality issues in Indigenous and non-Indigenous communities. As of right now, in Canada, or in British Columbia, we have 202 boil waters and do not consumes. In Saskatchewan, we have 159 boil waters. And Manitoba, we have 90 boil waters. And Ontario and Quebec, we have 63 and 95. So the problem, what I do during the day is I'm a wastewater operator. And what I found was that I could not properly manage my natural resources, which is taking raw water and turning it into potable, healthy drinking water for the community members. So I was using paper at the time, which was an old technology, and paper still has its place today. But when you're managing your natural resources, you cannot use paper. So I developed a wastewater program that has the maintenance schedule, operation, water sampling, communications, incident management, and automatic reporting. So thank you for that.
Hey, Trever, great pitch, very interesting. Curious to know how you feed data into your app.
So the water operator collects it from when he goes out and does his daily checks, and he just uses his cell phone to collect the data on, which goes to the program, and it organizes the scientific data the way it should be and translate it to the proper people that it should be going to.
That's a great pitch. Thank you. Is this type of data collection standardized across Canada?
No, it isn't. I'm trying to get it standardized now.
That's awesome. Aside from that, how would you, like when you export it, how does that format come out? Like what does that look like to export the data?
So to export it, what I've done, I haven't allowed printing from it. So to save on paper. And what the person does is that when the program organizes the data, it develops the report. So right at the very top of the report, you'll see all the incidents, all the boil waters, all the do not consumes, so that you don't have to read through like hundreds of pages of data.
Hey, Trever, great pitch. I'm a pitcher myself, so keep at it. It's a passion project for you. You got the expertise and experience. How are you going to monetize this, and what are you going to use the Pow Wow Pitch money for should you win?
For the Pow Wow Pitch, so I've been able to develop the program probably about 75%, and there's 25% that I want to complete, and that's roughly about 160,000. And that's going to get me to the proper places I need to go with the banks now if I have to. I'm trying to keep it private.
Next, we have Ashley Macdonald, founder and creative lead, Rompclomp Studio.
Hello, and thank you for inviting me to participate in Pow Wow Pitch. My name is Ashley Macdonald, and I'm the founder and creative lead at Rompclomp Studio, and proudly Mohawk. My work is driven by storytelling. When my grandmother told me stories about her life, she would sketch pictures of important things that she's seen, and she always looked to nature for knowledge, understanding, and protection, which I carry with me through my work. After completing my degree, I was in the market to upgrade from student furniture. And I began to discover that the only choices were inexpensive cookie cutter designs or high-end designer pieces, which led me to the opportunity to launch Rump Studio. We are a form-forward niche design studio and furniture brand specializing in delightful design. By highlighting the intuitive experience between product and maker, we are able to play to the emotional design cues that enhance our stories, giving them color, shape, and texture. We offer bold, playful, well-designed pieces using native woods, sustainable materials, and practices wherever possible. With furniture sales increasing by 80% since February compared to last year and people spending more time at home than ever, our target market is design-savvy women aged 26 to 55, interior designers, stylists, and home stagers. I look forward to giving shape to other stories, using furniture as my vehicle to provoke an emotional bond within spaces, proving that Indigenous culture definitely has a place in contemporary design. Thus far, we are debt-free and bootstrapping, and in the process of establishing a strong online presence using Shopify's digital Main Street platform. I have sold to commercial and residential clients. I have been part of New York Design Week in 2019 and was picked up by Fuego Design Market following that. I work as a mentor and a woodworking instructor with the tool.
That's excellent. Thank you very much, Ashley. Great pitch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to know what your most popular piece is. What are people buying the most?
Right here, over the course of COVID, I have sold the most of these swings.
Can you describe exactly what that is?
Yes, these are hand-casted swings using an eco-friendly resin epoxy with flowers embedded in them, and then they are hung using brass fittings and then sold fully assembled with the ropes.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your products are amazing. I'm familiar with your Shopify store. I've been on it a few times. What are you going to do with the $10,000 if you win?
The $10,000 would definitely be used for rapid prototyping equipment. That is a cost-cutting and efficient way to get concepts and designs out to clients quickly and at little cost.
How much would it cost you cut your cost by?
The ShopBot that I need that includes a laser cutter is $4,000. The rest of the money would be used for web development. I am not strong in that respect, and I believe that that would be the most helpful to me.
Great stuff, Ashley. I'm a former pitcher. Keep going. It sounds like you have everything you need in front of you for the most part. I'm curious about your supply chain on your wholesale stuff, and should you ever run into where it explodes in sales, will you be able to meet those demands?
That is something I'm definitely working towards at this point. Right now, the team is me and my very supportive family. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. I work in a shared space, so they're always willing to lend a hand.
Next, we have Jacob Crane, co-founder, Wusa Tech.
Hello, my name is Jacob Crane. I am the co-founder of Wusa Tech. My cousin and I are the creators of the JobBox app. As an Indigenous entrepreneur, I've experienced in the past a tough time finding employees well suited for my business. I was heavily reliant on word of mouth and posting on a bulletin board at the band office hoping for someone to call me. I knew there had to be a better way. In the 21st century, we have apps for almost everything. JobBox is a user-friendly solution to this problem. All you have to do is download and start swiping right. This will allow employers, post jobs, and citizens to each nation to see that jobs are available to benefit everyone. JobBox has internet-based features and location settings to allow for the creation of accurate employment databases for Indigenous communities, which will assist them with government funding as well as highlight employment opportunities for their citizens. If granted the 2020 Pow Wow Pitch Award, our company will use $9,000 to cover app development and coding consultant fees. The remaining $1,000 will be allocated for hiring marketing and social media correspondents to help our team get the word out about JobBox. By making these financial decisions, this will allow for the creation of the prototype and move us one step closer to bringing JobBox to a nation near you. if you want to support a small business, support a small business. But if you would want to solve a bigger problem within First Nation communities, you will support our business. I hope you swipe right on us. Thank you for listening.
How long do you think you still have to work on the app so it's good for the market?
About 3 months, ma'am.
Only 3 months and $10,000. Okay.
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay.
Great pitch, Jacob. I'm curious to know a bit more about your revenue model and how you plan to monetize or make money on this.
Yeah, so our target market is First Nations people and First Nation communities. So, and I guess basically small businesses as well. So it's just like Monster and Indeed. When you post a job or a job posting, usually there's a fee attached to that, and so companies will pay that small fee for the month to post X, Y, and Z jobs, or for the year X, Y, and Z jobs. So that's kind of how we're going to be bringing revenue in. As far as when you download the app, it might be $1, could be $1.25 fee to download the app as well.
Got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Great pitch. Great idea. I love it. Are
Thanks.
you going to have an option for people looking for jobs to post their resumes to be matched that way?
Yes. So how it's set up is, I guess that would be the Chrysler of the job box. So we're taking it in phases. Right now we kind of have the Res Rocket, but eventually phase 2, if not phase 3, we definitely want to have a place where you can interview just how we are interviewing right now. And so there definitely will be a place for uploading resumes, cover letters, stuff like that. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Great stuff, Jacob. I'm a former pitcher. I love the idea. I love the concept. I understand. I'm familiar with the interface that you're trying to use there with the swipe right there. I'm just curious of how you do quality control with certain people. There's a lot of bots and things out there in the world. How are you guys going to, on the human capital side, screen all of these people or entities in there?
Our team will be taking a look at that to make sure nobody's bugging us. Usually with the software, you can kind of tell that somebody's attacking it before it actually happens. So hopefully we'll know before it actually, people start to notice that somebody's using bots or whatever on us. So it's the software.
Keep it in-house. Good job. Right on.
Next, we have Christian Emond, co-founder and COO, Yoil Technologies.
Hi everyone, my name is Christian Emond. I'm a co-founder and COO of Yoil Technologies based in Calgary, Alberta, and I am from the Mohawks of Kiawentonteh Nation. Canada produces 3 million tons of canola oil annually, contributing over $26 billion to the national economy. The most expensive and damaging part of this industry is acid-activated clay removal of chlorophyll, which produces a mass amount of CO2 and is disposed of as waste that harms soil quality. We developed a protein-based process that removes twice as much chlorophyll that clays can, with less oil loss. This process could cut a third of processing costs and displace acid being added to our soil. Not only does this reduce CO2 emissions drastically, the chlorophyll recovered with our proteins can actually be repurposed, turning waste into a marketable product. Chlorophyll can be used to support the cosmetics, cannabinoids, and other areas of the agri-food industry. To make a yellow industry greener, we will need to first outfit a lab space with 5 bioreactors as a pilot batch operation for the price of $5,500, with an additional $4,000 to operate the bioreactors for 1 year. These would produce enough proteins to displace the acid clays used in one of 4 small-scale oil processing plants in Canada. With $9,500, we could take our business from lab research to industry partnerships. One batch of bioreactors would allow us to approach our contacts at Pleasant Valley Oil Mills or Richardson Oilseed to secure pilot contracts with them. The canola industry is run by few organizations, and by building a strong partnership with a single producer, we can rapidly expand through the vegetable oil industry. The foundation of Yoil Technologies is community. Driven by a desire to answer the pleas heard around the world for more sustainable practices, my team of 5 and I went from research group to startup with the encouragement of canola farmers and oil producers alike. Together, our diverse set of skills make us equipped to tackle this problem holistically. With $10,000, we could positively impact not only a single nation, not just a single country, but the world.
You mentioned industry partnerships. I'm curious to understand how you're going to be reaching out in those situations? How are you going to get the word out about what sounds like a really, really important product, important service?
Yeah, so actually, we started as a research group, and so in the design of our process, we made it very human-centered. And so we've actually already contacted the Canola Council of Canada, as well as different oil producers, as I said, with Pleasant Valley Oil Mills and Richardson Oilseed. So we actually collaborated with them to understand how their manufacturing processes work, so that we could design our protein process to implement with those. So really, we're a B2B kind of marketing style where we go business to business, and we speak directly to the engineers as well as some of the administration of these corporations.
Do you have people signed on for the pilot already? Like, do you have partnerships set up?
Not yet. We're essentially going to use places like Canola Palooza, the agronomic event of the year. We've actually been invited to talk at that event, as well as the American Chemist Society. These are the biggest areas where industry go to see what new tech there is. We're going to use those platforms to talk.
Up next, we have Jillian Sutherland, founder, DryMox.
Hello, my name is Jillian Sutherland, and I'm Cree from Port Alberni First Nation, currently living in Ottawa, Ontario. I'm a powwow dancer, and today I'm wearing my fancy shawl regalia. When I first created my beadwork, my friends warned me that my white moccasins would ruin very quickly, so I decided to look into some protective shoe covers to protect them, only to find that the products out there aren't designed to fit moccasins. This is an example of one, and as you can see, the fit is very awkward. That's why I plan to create DryMox, clear silicone covers designed specifically for moccasins. So powwows are outdoor cultural celebrations, usually held outdoors, and that means bad weather can have an impact not only on the event, but also dancers' regalia. And in a recent survey that I conducted, 81% of respondents said that their regalia had been either worn or damaged due to bad weather, and 75% said that their moccasins see the greatest wear. So that means bad weather contributes to more maintenance and a shorter lifespan for moccasins. Now, it's uncertain what next year's powwow season will look like, but we know that the current pandemic has changed our comfort levels to gather indoors. This means powwow organizers won't be so quick to move powwows indoors when bad weather is on the horizon. That's why now is a great time to launch DryMox. So to begin, my target audience will be powwow dancers, but I plan to expand to anyone who owns a pair of moccasins. From my own experience and from my survey data, I know that powwow dancers are dedicated to caring for their regalia. And with no other products on the market, I'm confident they'll choose DryMox. So with $10,000, I'll invest $2,000 into product development, $3,000 into marketing, $3,000 into inventory, and the rest into startup costs. Judges, let's help dancers protect their mocks. Thank you.
Great job, Jillian. I am familiar with the powwow trail and the powwow pitch. I'm a former pitcher, so keep going. It's great to see you thinking about the niche market that you're in and the ever-expanding world that is the powwow trail. I'm curious if you plan on going direct to user or wholesaling to shops that do the beadwork and do the leather, or where do you see yourself going as your primary market?
I'd like to go direct to user and online, and then also wholesale to powwow organizers or people who sell powwow items.
That's what I wanted to hear. 2 channels is great. Good job.
Hi, good job. How many pairs do you think you could sell the first year? Like, what's the your market? It's limited, no?
Well, not really. There's approximately 6,000 First Nations just across Canada. That doesn't include the US. And there's powwows all over Canada and the US. So I anticipate selling around 15 to 2,000 pairs.
Another question for you around, you mentioned the $3,000 you would dedicate to your marketing plan. Could you tell us a bit more about what that would be and how you get the word out about your product?
Sure. So my marketing includes online, social media, sorry, I wrote it down. Online, social media, and influencers. So sending out my product to powwow influencers in the US and Canada. And and of course my website. So that marketing also includes website costs.
What is your price point and your profit margins for each pair?
So my profit margin is 70%. I plan to, it'll cost me approximately $6, everything in, and I plan to sell for $20.
Next, we have Tonya-leah Watts, founder, Many Rivers One Journey Initiative.
In our country today, Indigenous populations are significantly underrepresented in STEM and healthcare fields. Imagine being half as likely to have a post-secondary education in healthcare or STEM just because you're Indigenous. Many resources aim to address these gaps in representation, but are often hard to find, and being an Indigenous student pursuing higher education myself, I've seen it become a challenge of its own just to find the right resources that fit my needs. It got me thinking, is there a way to improve the accessibility and awareness of relevant resources for Indigenous students? Well, using a longitudinal pipeline approach, my vision for the Many Rivers One Journey initiative is to create a coast-to-coast online community that guides Indigenous students on a pathway towards pursuing a career in healthcare or STEM. Studies from Canada, New Zealand, and the US have all shown that the educational pipeline approach is an effective method in creating a continuous support network that highlights the areas of greatest need on an academic journey. The initiative is essentially a comprehensive resource hub, or if you will, a digital timeline, and what makes it unique is that it acknowledges an entire academic journey from high school up until the completion of one's degree. So whether a student is in grade 10 looking for career options, or that same student is in second year university looking for research opportunities, the digital timeline will help Indigenous youth visualize each chapter of their educational path with resources that will support them each step of the way. In a time where academic institutions are recognizing the importance of recruitment and retention of Indigenous students, this initiative has the potential to bring a unique sense of accessibility and empowerment in helping students see that their future in healthcare or STEM is supported in every way, as they should be.
How do you plan on monetizing this?
In terms of its monetary value, I see this first and foremost as a non-profit organization or initiative. I want to do my part in helping Indigenous students get the help that they need and deserve. And in terms of paying for it, I don't see that as a priority of mine for them as users. In terms of getting the funds to be able to launch and maintain the website and keep it being a sustainable initiative, that those details are still kind of being worked out.
Good job. Great. Good luck.
Just a question about, is this a team of one, or do you have a support group behind you that's helping you with this? And if there is, we'd love to hear about them.
Yeah, I've got, so for a while it's just been me. I saw a timer go out though. I'm not sure if I ran out of time, but I do have some tech support right now. And the team is intended to get bigger in order to properly maintain the initiative cross country.
Up next, we have Stephanie Pangowish, founder, Pangowish Comedy.
Ani, my name is Stephanie Pangowish from Pangowish Comedy, and I'm an Anishinaabe from Wikwem-Kung. I'm a stand-up comedian and would like to share an initiative called Ani Shindian, an Indigenous youth comedy workshop. This workshop was created to help Indigenous youth connect with their voice, embrace their creativity, and capture their sense of humor. Humor is an important part of Indigenous culture it's so important that I'll be doing a TEDx talk on it. And they are paying me in corn and tobacco. Stand-up comedy helped me overcome many fears and obstacles. I found my voice and was able to create laughter in larger social settings. This opened many doors in terms of sharing what I've learned with Indigenous communities. So what makes this workshop unique? This workshop helps Indigenous youth find a creative outlet in comedy writing, stand-up, and improv, which reflect their daily lives. For example, in urban settings, we can perform improv about friendship centers, the transit system, or being the only Indigenous youth in the classroom. In rural settings, we can joke about hunting, ceremony, or even res dogs. The youth reflect on their family and community sense of humor while learning about other Indigenous communities, both past and present. After 2 days of exercises, they perform in front of their family and community. Since its its inception a year ago, the workshop's been delivered in Whitefish, Tyendinaga, and Toronto's Comedy School, Second City. Parents reported seeing their children's excitement for completing their homework, an increase in self-esteem, facing their fears of public speaking, and pride in making their community laugh. 2 graduates of the Toronto location have actually performed alongside me and Howie Miller at Humber College's Indigenous Knowledge Gathering. If I win, the funds would be used for marketing, creating professional resources, and hiring someone that can assist me in offering the workshop on a virtual platform. I would like to begin delivering this 3 months after receiving the funds. Since stand-up comedy has helped me no longer be paralyzed with fear and embrace individuality this late in life, imagine what it could do for my Indigenous youth.
Well, I'm really impressed, Stephanie. Our youth need a lot of support in many ways, and this is one of the best ways that I can, kind of my personal knowledge. I love laughing. I love that we're Anishinaabe. We're kind of those funny people. I'm wondering about your price points, though. So how much do you charge per class? And you said it's 2 days or 3 days?
It would be a long 3 days. And what we do charge is approximately $1,500 if it's from a community perspective. But I work on a scale based on what people can provide, plus travel and accommodations.
Good, great, thank you.
Hi, Stephanie. You said that if you win the powwow, you would use part of it for your marketing plan. What is your marketing plan up to now?
Up until now, I've just been reaching out to the Indigenous community through social media. I have connections in other Indigenous communities across Canada that I've been sharing the information with. And I've actually just been a little bit more open on expanding this to other communities like across Turtle Island, because in Anishinaabe, I feel like I've just been kind of concentrating locally, but I feel like that I can now expand more. And that's what I'd like to do with it.
Yes, Stephanie, I'm curious to hear about some of your challenges in moving your company forward. If you were to pick one, maybe your biggest challenge in moving forward, what would that be?
I think being able to create this in a virtual platform, because a lot of my exercises are hands-on and working together with youth in overcoming, personal speaking challenges, for example, or excitements in groups. And I feel like that's one of my challenges that I would have with being able to offer this in a virtual platform.
Thank you.
Kwe, Yin Delawisi Jesse Benjamin. I'm from Kitchiboktuk, or Halifax, Nova Scotia. I am Mi'kmaq, but I grew up off reserve in a white household in a white community. Although I was able to visit the reserve that I belong to and my family there, I still struggled to feel connected with my own culture for most of my life. I grew up without the language, without mentors or elders to learn from. This past year during COVID, I made a concerted effort to reclaim my culture and to educate myself by learning to fancy shell dance, to sew my own regalia, and to bead my own accessories. It's been nothing short of life-changing, to be honest. I did, however, really struggle to find cohesive or complete information on many of the skills that I wanted to learn. Did you know that of the 1.6 million Indigenous people in Canada, approximately 2/3 of those live in urban areas? For those off-reserve natives, or even some families that live on reserve, the effects of colonialism, like loss of language and cultural knowledge, have been catastrophic. I'm launching a digital Indigenous business marketplace for video content creators. This platform would provide an all-encompassing digital hub where Indigenous businesses can be easily accessed and supported, and teaching videos are curated by authentic Indigenous subject experts from multiple communities. Our revenue model is based on a pay per download, where each purchase would help directly support the content creator. My vision is to create a well-known access point where people can support Indigenous creators through the purchasing of products and educational videos, and this would be a revolutionary opportunity for those who are looking to educate themselves and reconnect with their culture. Well, thank you so much.
How long do you think it would take you to launch the project, like the idea?
I think it wouldn't take very long to get a website up and going, and I think it would just have to start small and build. So like over time, the information that's there would just grow and grow, and people's awareness of it and utilization of it would grow as well, I think, with time. But I think it could be set up very quickly.
Just another question on that. As far as creating this sort of media platform, is it something you're looking to do all yourself, or are you looking to buy something that does that for you, or how do you envision moving forward with that?
It depends on, I guess, well, I would like to have help building the website. I have built my own website, so I can do it, but I would rather have somebody who knows better and can make it look aesthetically pleasing as well as functional. So I would prefer to get help.
As far as the user pay goes, are you also paying the artists that are uploading the videos, or how is that going to work?
Yes, so that was my plan, is that it's a pay per download, so that each time that a person purchases that video, the person who created it is being supported.
So my name's Jesse. My business startup idea is Ojibweb, and Ojibweb is a digital agency for social innovation. And the reason why I want to start Ojibweb is because our world is becoming more digital, and I want to make sure that these complex algorithms that are starting to exist start to include Indigenous peoples. So that's part of the reason why I want to start Ojibweb. Ojibweb and a digital agency is a broad business plan. So this project idea, or I presented this project for this pitch. It's the Indigenous certification software. And the reason is because the federal government, or the Canadian government, has promised a 5% procurement for Indigenous businesses. And previously, they're still sitting around 1%. So this software will speed up the procurement process by accessing Indigenous business registries, or just business registries in general, and also Indigenous status registries, and pulling documents to certify Indigenous businesses. And the reason why we need to do this is, of course, to increase Indigenous procurement, but also to help get rid of paper-based transactions and this slower process of proving Indigenous certification. And the money used from the Pow Wow pitch will be to create a prototype. So I just want to create a beginning version of my software and be able to present it to people and show that this actually works and it's doable, and then grow out and develop the idea from there.
Well, great pitch, Jesse. I'd like to hear a bit more about you. Is your background in marketing, technical, engineering? Tell us a bit more about you.
Yeah, so I went to college for Aboriginal Community and Social Development. Then I went to Trent University for Indigenous Studies and Business Administration, and I also got a certificate in web development.
Thanks so much, Jesse. That's a great pitch. I'm wondering what you have for solutions for data protection. If you're accessing the registry, how do you put that data
I'll try not to get too deep into this, but I want to use blockchain technology. And if you're familiar with blockchain technology, it basically is a lot more secure coding system to prevent or protect data. And I'm huge on data sovereignty and definitely the protection of data and ownership.
Well, great job, Jesse. I'm kind of in the procurement area myself. I go after government sourced or Indigenous focused or Indigenous add-on for certain different projects. One being we're trying to clean up the waterways in the Great Lakes area. So how do you plan on competing when the government has their own interface to try to get these Indigenous businesses these type of projects that are scalable from 50,000 to 50 million?
So the procurement opportunities are already being offered by the government, right? This tool is more or less so that other people who need to find Indigenous businesses can use this as a resource to be like, oh yeah, this is a certified Indigenous businesses. They meet the criteria to apply for these grants or strategies and programs. And yeah.
So define my partner essentially on those things.
Yeah, correct.
Cool, great, awesome, good job.
Hi, my name is Mégane and I'm 23 years old. First of all, I gotta say that my first language is French, so this is really, really stressful for me to do this, and it's hard for me to express myself because I want you to understand everything that I will tell you. But let's do this. I'm an esthetician, but mostly lash lady at the moment. I want to open my beauty salon here on my reserve, and I want to give unique and luxury experience to my clients. And I want... After high school, I went to college, Cité Collégiale, to get my aesthetic course and lashes and nail course. Then I did 3 other courses: teeth whitening, hair extension, and permanent makeup. After that, I started working in a popular salon in Maniwaki for 3 years. And now since 1 year, I'm on the reserve at my mom's house. The thing I'm doing the most right now is lashes and waxing. I have about 20-30 clients that come see me every 2 weeks. I already have the project to move out from my mom's house, and with the COVID situation right now, this is not the best place, but it's been a long time I've been dreaming of this. So if I win this, it will be a good opportunity to me to move forward. I'm dreaming big, like every little details. So with the money, I want to open my salon here on my reserve. I also want to take other courses like laser removal and eyebrows waxing expert. I want to do the best eyebrows in town. I'm not even doing publicity right now. So now I want to think big and do my logo, my business card, and Facebook page and all. I want to have a big, beautiful commercial sign too. I want to sell all kinds of my favorite beauty products and other products from different native entrepreneurs. To get to know me better, I can say that I'm a very, very perfectionist person, which is good for my profession. I'm really meticulous, gentle, and I have good taste. It's already done.
That was fantastic, Mégane. Thank you very much for that. Really well done. You mentioned your dreams. Tell me a bit more about where you see yourself in, say, 5 years.
In 5 years, I want to have my beauty salon on the reserve with all the little luxury details I'm talking about. Maybe I'm going to have co-workers, employee. I want it big. I want to take other courses too to do those services here.
Great job, Mégane. I'm a former power pitcher too. I foresee some issues with the coronavirus, COVID. Did you kind of explain a little bit, but how do you plan on managing that in the next coming months here?
I think it's going to be time for me to move and to place my things and deal with it. New place, good environment and good hygiene.
And you'd probably buy some personal protective equipment and things like that, correct?
Oui, for sure. The place is gonna be A1 for a virus.
Yeah. Est-ce qu'il y a de la compétition autour sur où tu es, ou tu es le seul salon?
Il y a d'autres filles qui sont coiffeuses. Il y en a qui font aussi des braids. Il y en a qui font des ongles. Moi, je fais plus des cils. Puis je fais des blanchiments dentaires. Ça, je suis la seule aussi. des extensions pour les cheveux aussi. Je pense que je suis la seule. Du maquillage permanent aussi. Je sais qu'il y a du microblading, mais moi, je fais du maquillage permanent. Puis aussi, le laser pour les poils, là, laser hair removal, là, ça, il y en a pas en ce moment sur la réserve. Fait que ça, je serais la seule, ouais, la première. Puis j'ai déjà ma grosse clientèle sur la réserve et dans Maniwaki. Puis je fais les cils. Je fais les cils à pas mal toute la réserve en ce moment, là.
Ah, c'est populaire.
Ouais.
Okay.
Oui, ça va bien.
OK. Mais continue.
Merci beaucoup.
Okinik Sopa, ni Stunatanako Ahksistowaki. Hello, all my relations. My name is Jamie Medicine Crane. My traditional name is Brave Woman, and I come from the Blackfoot people of Southern Alberta. My traditional name was given to me by my late great auntie, Dr. Helen Manyfingers, and this is how I named my products in my business. Brave Woman Botanicals is a natural and organic skin hair body product line using traditional Indigenous knowledge for healing and wellness. Each creation is made in small batches, infusing Reiki, plant, and crystal energy to ensure quality and ethical love. When I was a little girl, growing up on the reserve, I didn't know much about natural products because of my location and accessibility. It wasn't until I was older and I started having a lot of reactions to the products that I used on my skin. Then I started realizing that there's so many chemicals in these products that we use on our largest organ, our body. So I wanted to create something that was natural, accessible, and affordable for the girl on the res or the girl in the city. And so I started creating things for myself and sampling them to my friends and family. We don't test on animals, but we do test on friends and family. And they started encouraging me to sell them. About a year ago, I was offered to sit with the Indigenous Artists Market to sell at different conferences, events, and farmers markets. Most of my products are sold to repeat customers online. And if I won this contest, it would help my business to get ahead financially. Thank you for the opportunity.
Great pitch. Thank you very much for that. I'm curious to know more about your products. Can you maybe select one of the products beside you and tell us a bit more about it and let us know what the price is as well?
Okay, so this is my multi-purpose magic medicine. It's good for different skin conditions like eczema, psoriasis, bug bites, rashes. It's also good for anti-inflammatory. So if you have sore muscles, sciatic nerve, or arthritis, it's good for that. It's also good replacement for Vicks, 100% natural, and it is elder approved. All my products are very natural with butters, essential oils, and plants that I harvest myself.
How do you see any problems going as you scale larger, going from small batch products and maintaining your quality as you become a bigger company?
Yes, I do see the demand getting more. I think that for me, I've just been putting in my own resources to be able to purchase all my stuff so that I could put the passion into my products and the healing into my products that I do. When I share them with different places, I think that it will allow me to have more time to be able to share my products with different companies. I have a young woman from Southern Alberta that contacted me and asked me if I could share my products in her little shop she's opening up. So I have that opportunity to be able to sell not just online or to friends and family as well.
Thank you.
Great job, Jamie. Former pitcher myself. It's a lot of tough work and hard work to get there, so great job. Your sales to date, if you've been doing about a year, how much have you sold? How much are you hoping to sell next year?
So I've been selling my products for about a year now, and just kind of really testing the waters on pricing, really doing my research on different companies that are selling similar products, really doing that. So for me, I think that this first year was a really good hit. I'd have to look over my financials for sure, but I think that this year I broke even with just all the things that I purchased and trying to sample out different products to different clients as well.
Quick Pow Pitch. I'm Janessa Breault, one of the Three Little Bears business partners. My partners are Emmy Kearney and Jada McMartin, all proud members of Timiskaming First Nation. We run a traditional native boutique. Beadwork, jewelry, crafts, and regalias are handmade by all three of us. We also carry craft supplies. As of now, we have a Facebook page which allows our customers to see what products we have available. We take orders and have had requests that actually help widen our variety of items available. We're mobile. We've set up a booth at various events. Our business also likes to give back to the community, making donations to others in need. Something we'll always continue to do. Something we'd like to do in the future is create our own website to help expand our market, because how cool would it be to have products be sold all around the world? An iPad or computer with software to help create custom orders, and a building, our own building for our store. If we won Pow Pitch, we would use the prize money to help us someday achieve our goals. Our business is culture-based. It's educational, and we're hoping to inspire others. We attend a lot of workshops and stay involved with our community. We also try our best to be earth-friendly and give back to our community. Thank you, Pow Pitch, and please have a good afternoon.
Hey, Janessa, that was fantastic. Really well done. I'm curious to hear. Can you give us an example of one of your products and how much you charge for it?
Let's say a pair of earrings the size of a toonie. We'd sell them for maybe $20.
How do you see yourself growing in the next, say, 6 months to a year?
I'd say we'd have more customers. We'd be known more. And I'm not sure what else. We'd have more like storage for like display.
Great, thank you.
Janessa, I'm Anishinaabe myself. I was a young entrepreneur and still consider myself somewhat young, but you got a definite head start on me, so great job. Where did you guys come up with your name, and why just you three? Is it because you guys are best friends? Is it because you guys work well together? Why is it the Three Little Bears?
Well, we are best friends, and we all share the same talent of doing what we do. And one day we prayed for a name to come to us, and we slept, and then the next day my mom thought the Three Little Bears.
Great story, awesome stuff.
Good day, my name is Kayla Stride. I'm here representing Red Fire Ceramics, which is a pottery that I'm kickstarting here in my hometown, Conn River. Before I go into the business, I want to just give you a little bit of background about me. I'm a graduate from NACCA University with a degree in Fine Arts. I graduated in 2016, and I also have a Bachelor of Education from Memorial University. I've had many exhibitions throughout Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, and I've worked on as a ceramic tech at the Our Hearth Park in North Sydney, on the largest outdoor ceramic mural in Canada. So here today, my business, I want to offer classes to the community to do ceramics and pit firing. And I think that would be great right now during a pandemic, because then we can social distance outside. And that way I can create a revenue of about $1,000 per class outside. That takes about 3 hours, and everybody gets to go home with their own piece. This is one kind of piece that you can make outside doing a raku firing with me. So that's one thing that I would like to offer. The things that are holding me back from launching right now is the finances from renovating the studio. I have absolutely no debt. All my equipment's paid for. The building is paid for. It's just rolling out, creating product right now because of the renovations that need to happen. So that's kind of what's holding me back from getting started and launching, hopefully this spring, coming 2021 or summer, and rolling out to the community.
How do you see this scaling? Like, if you get the $10,000 prize, do you see yourself hiring staff, or would this just be a one-woman show?
That's a great question, actually. So in my community, we offer youth jobs for high school graduates. So in the summertime, they would be able to work for me, the students, and I could have them working in my studio, and the band office will pay for their wages while I teach them skills on extracting clay and working in my business.
That's great.
For the start.
Yeah, you kind of got to what I was saying there. Great job, Kayla. I'm a former pitcher myself. How do you, if this would ever to blow up, how would you service that demand?
Well, I would have to hire extra people and train more people. The goal here is to teach classes. I have my brother who's working closely with me at managing, as well as my sister. So those are the goals there. Eventually, I would quit my job as a teacher and work at this full time. And my studio is connected to my house, so I will be here living in the building where I work.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Kayla. You said at the beginning that you would do classes in different communities, no?
Yes.
Going to different places, but you cannot carry your studio with you.
No, I can't take my studio, but offering the pit firing, the outdoor classes, I could just pack that up in my truck and go to the communities. In this area, there's about 26 rural communities, so I can just roll up and promote a weekend event or a daily class, and then I could just pop it out of my truck, do a 3-hour class, pop it back in, and move on to the next community.
Did you know that North Americans spend over 9 hours a day glued to media? 9 hours. In Canada alone, advertisers spend over $11 billion annually to get our attention. I'm Charlene Sanjenko, and I'm the Indigenous founder and lead impact officer of Powerhouse Impact Media Group. In the 90s, I was the national marketing manager for an investment brokerage firm. I learned firsthand about the power, the exponential power that brokering brings to a situation. And now I broker impact. That's right. I broker impact. I create media deals, I broker them, and then I manage their success utilizing the vehicle of impact media. I'm a bit of a go-between. I go between impact champions and advertisers who are trying to do better. Yes, we build brand value for advertisers, and we build momentum, traction, and market reach for impact champions who so deserve it. Here's the problem we've seen in the past 2 decades. There are impact champions out there creating the solutions that we need now, but no one knows about them. And there are advertisers and brands who are struggling to remain relevant, relatable, and responsible, and not sure how. So we bring these two parties together. Yes, and we do so using the vehicle of impact media, fully integrated, very compelling impact media campaigns using audio, visual, digital, editorial, social, and short film. At Powerhouse, we are a media company dedicated to impact. We are healing the world through impact, and media is our drum for more impact. There's $13 billion on the table. And there's $13 billion on the table waiting for reconciliation in action.
Charlene, what would you use the $10,000 for if you were to win Pow Wow Pitch?
Thank you. We are building a fully integrated engagement kit for advertisers, brand advertisers, and ad executives for 2021. And we would use that for the engagement kit.
Thank you.
Great job, Charlene. My name is Matt. I'm a former pitcher myself. I would ask how you intend on leveraging your current existing. I see you're kind of an offshoot or a subsidiary of something bigger. Is that the plan? And you're going to leverage those resources to create this thing and springboard it?
That's exactly right. We have 7 years behind us. We've tested our beta platform. So we have a steady, sustainable business that has been growing incrementally year after year. Started in 2013. And now She for Her Media is basically the amplifier and the impact media portion of that business.
Cool. Great. Good job. Thank you. Great. Good job. Thank you.
Hi, Charlene. You look passionate. I guess you are. You keep saying we have a team working with you, around you. How many are you?
Yeah, there is a collective of us. So I've been a social impact entrepreneur since 2000. So Powerhouse represents 3,000 women across Canada. We have a social reach of 12,000, and I have a team. I'm one of 8 women that works with Powerhouse. So I'm not a new kid around the block, but impact media is an emerging industry that we feel is following suit after impact investing. And that's why I'm here pitching today.
Wow, what an incredible episode of the Pow Wow Pitch Semi-Finals. With such incredible ingenuity, I don't know how you will choose. Judges, can you share your final thoughts on tonight's pitches?
Another great day of listening to resourceful, strong, intelligent entrepreneurs. Just an amazing day. On behalf of the Canada Post small business team, very proud to be participating in the Pow Wow Pitch this year. Thank you.
Yeah, that was so great listening to all those entrepreneurs. I'm actually blown away by their wonderful ideas, ingenuity, and motivation. On behalf of Shopify, it was such a great thing to be a part of, and thank you so much.
What a great experience. This whole week has been long, but in the most fruitful ways possible. I love the production team here at Pow Wow Pitch, the MC, Quem, you're the best. Every entrepreneur will get there, whether it's through this show or any other way. I'm positive that they're going to do incredible, amazing things, and you guys provide that platform with your corporate sponsorships, and keep doing what you guys do, and we'll keep doing what we do on the other side. As a Pow Wow Pitch alumnus, thank you, Chi-miigwech and Bamapi.
C'était une très belle expérience de voir tous ces jeunes et ces moins jeunes énergiques avec plein d'ambition et de motivation. Ça donne de l'énergie. It was a great experience for me, but I guess it's even a bigger experience for everybody today. Everybody was different, but excellent.
Thank you, judges. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, RBC, and our partners at Canada Post, Shopify, BDC, and NACCA. And thank you to our mentors, volunteers, and judges for all of your support in bringing 2020 Pow Wow Pitch online and across Canada this evening. A huge congratulations to tonight's entrepreneurs for their passionate and compelling pitches. Thank you to all of our viewers tonight for cheering on Indigenous entrepreneurs through Pow Wow Pitch. Let's keep the conversation going using the hashtag Pow Wow Pitch, and tell us who delivered your favorite pitch tonight. Join us tomorrow evening and each evening this week from 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Pow Wow Pitch Facebook Live, to hear from all of our semi-finalists and to share who you think should be selected for the Pow Wow Pitch Finals. Until tomorrow, I am your host, Sunshine Tenasco, signing off. Miigwech kapija ayeg nong gomanakshik.